Prizrak, checking in. Sounds good. Nothing going. Huh? Engaging the subject. We lost the kid.
Such a display of finality is premature, don't you think?
Derringer doesn't think so. Either that kid's long gone or he's a skeleton in a wall somewhere. Either way, leaving his stuff laying around will only be a distraction.
And this is not. You want our wards to focus on the arrival, and not the poison in those manifestos, correct? Then perhaps such a public celebration of the boy's ability to elude us is counterproductive, no?
commissary.
Though this email doesn't mention it, we all know it was the librarian that slipped those poisoned manifestos to the kids.
This is Central. Derringer's folks distributed the new allotment of tasers last night. With all the added precautions because of the arrival, he insisted they be stowed in the lockbox for safekeeping. Passcode is 4118. And watch your step. If you thought the old ones had a kick, you really don't want to be on the business end of one of these new models.
This is where wheat beats. Why are they spying on the boys? Are they spying on us girls too? I'll take this.
This is a taser model C2CEW. It really packs a punch, and will render its target incapacitated for the night. Equip the taser as you would any item in the girl's inventory.
A new taser. I've never been over here before. We're not allowed. The headmaster calls it separate spheres. I wonder if they feed us the same meals.
Check in. Situation is clear.
going into Vic's pockets. Got it. What's yours is mine.
No sign of the pre-cal.
The screwdriver snapped in half.
This old-school boombox is ideal for playing back any audio cassettes the girl finds. Zager was always inspired by uprisings. He hoped to inspire those inside Metamorphosis to rise up in similar fashion. Zager called this photo the perfect metaphor for our times. Doe was still a work in progress at the time of his death.
There are few things, librarian, as disappointing as failed leadership, especially when that leadership fails by giving in to mental illness or desire. Hawthorne came from a line of leaders, but you wouldn't know that by reading his account of Dimmesdale. The Scarlet Letter would teach our citizens that its leadership can succumb to the weaknesses that we work daily to cure. Such doubt is unacceptable. Where would we be without faith in government? One of the great terrors of literature is its ability to touch a reader's unspoken experience. But you understand, librarian, a Republique requires peace between its citizens. Animal Farm gives voice to bigoted trends we must erase. Its laws separate citizens into different body types, those with 2 legs and 4 legs and wings. It's a short jump from this fiction to realizing that you've never liked the color of your neighbor's skin. This one belongs in a cage. Japan had the sense to try and then fine a translator for dragging this garbage into Japanese. Out there beyond our walls, Lady Chatterley's lover has a reputation as sidekick to hormones in adolescent awakenings. Puberty is a delicate time. We need to cultivate it as a plant in a garden. We cannot teach them control with this floating around. I assure you, we know better than Lawrence. The body is strange, librarian. Oxytocin and endorphins lead so many to mistake robotic chemical responses for emotional attachments. Worse, though, is what Burroughs promotes. He suggests deviant behavior as a mechanical way around the trappings of societal control. We cannot let people think their bodies are ways around the state. They must exercise the Republique with their bodies in everything they do. Everything. Throw naked lunch in the pile. Pasternak, in the Soviet Union, wrote a book critical of the October Revolution. Can you think of anything more stupid? Beyond that, Zhivago and Laura cuckold a servant of the state, and Pasternak has the gall to ennoble their sin as a mystic union. The worst form of physical love, betrayal, is favored over the physical sacrifice of a soldier for his country. I despise freewheeling artists, librarian.
God, this collar. Itchy, man. It's got me scratching like a flea-bitten dog in a patch of poison oak. Not to mention, I've got this clicking in my head that I just can't seem to shake. Bet you the overseer probably put a chip in my brain. Now it's malfunctioning. Figured forcing everyone to wear a collar wasn't enough, so he decides to tag us, too. I have got an epic case of cabin fever. I think maybe I'm going crazy. Crazier than usual. I gotta get out of here. I tell you, my mind, it's melting. It's dripping out of my ears. It's all this technology, this invisible energy. It's cutting right through me every second of the day. Wi-Fi is killing me, man. It's cutting me down slowly. There's no way to turn my brain off, and no way to keep this guy's gray matter a secret from his prying eyes. Because he's psychic. No, don't say that. Stop saying that. Stop saying that. He has 1 billion cameras in this place, that's all. 1 billion cameras. And they're all aimed at me. Better if they were guns. You know, I'd kill myself if I thought it'd keep him from reading my thoughts. But he'd probably just dig up my corpse, plug out my spine, and shove it into some computer. Is that even possible? Can people really do that yet? Oh, God. My only choice is to keep drinking. Just keep drinking until my mind resembles an overcooked asparagus. I think I'm halfway there, I think. Every brain cell I drown is one less piece of evidence that bastard's thought police could turn against me. Booze is the best degaussing gun. Okay, I gotta go. Remember, don't trust me. Not even anyone.
The first photograph Zager ever took. There's an interesting story behind it. He told of it in his version of the manifesto.
Zager here. I want to apologize for the recent radio silence, but lately there's been a special project occupying my time. See, I'm taking the old man's manifesto and I'm making a few changes. Treglazov may think his words are gospel, but I think he could use an editor. So I'm touching up those beautiful lies with a little ugly truth. All you gotta do is read between the lines. I gotta say, it's actually been easier than you might think. You can't swing a dead Prizrak without hitting a stack of manifestos in this place, so no shortage of raw materials. Oh, and if you're wondering about distribution, well, all I can say is there's a few sympathetic parties down here willing to scatter these new and improved copies around, like drugs on a schoolyard. Good luck rounding them all up, Derringer. Oh, and Treglazov, if you're listening, and let's be honest, you probably are, then know this. The damage is done. My marked up manifestos will soon go into circulation. They will be read. They'll be passed around. Eyes will be opened. Minds will be blown. And there will be no going back. You can't stuff the back in this Trojan horse. So happy reading. This is Zager saying to you, don't trust anybody. Not even me. Oh, but read my book.
As a certified I would pronounce the team behind this freaky little game, but text-to-speech has a hard time with the word Simogo. These guys did some light-hearted games before making Year Walk. When I played this game, it really frightened me. How do you go from such happiness like Bumpy Road, to a psychological head trip like this one is beyond me. I hope these guys didn't fry their brains. They call Super Hexagon a Twitch game. I doubt even Doc Holliday had quick enough reflexes for this one. I've never gotten farther than 3.5 seconds. It's intense. I don't know if that's because it gives me vertigo, or because of the ominous lady shouting game over every time I die. Few games make us let them eat cake. Had Marie Antoinette said that to her teammates during a death match in Fat Princess, she probably would have kept her head. In this endlessly entertaining action RTS, eating cake is a means of restoring your character's health. The mission is straightforward enough. Rescue a Rubenesque royal, and feed her as much cake as you can carry until she's too heavy for the opposing team to carry her. Irresponsible eating has never been this much fun. Consumers don't know what they want, or at least that's what a bunch of corporate executives tell themselves every day. In the case of 2D Venia games, most publishers stop funding these so they can focus on crappy mobile games for babies. Thanks to bold indie developers like Tom Happ and Axiom Verge, we don't need no stinking corporation to make the games we want. Gravity Rush is secretly one of the most innovative games from Japan in the past few years. I love everything about this game, the thrill of its gravity-defying platforming, its twisted Parisian aesthetic, and even the name of the heroine's black cat, Dusty. You may not know a ton about Japanese culture, I'm an expert. But Gravity Rush is called Gravity Days in Japan. That's so much cooler. A modern game with all the trappings of a great 90s arcade cabinet, mutants, post-apocalyptic environments, killer co-op. I like to imagine nuclear throne machines lining every laundromat and corner store, disaffected youths pushing grannies out of the way, placing quarters to claim their spot in line. The developers at Lambier are the true wasteland kings. Destiny was my favorite jam of 2014. I just want to live in a tight fantasy sci-fi world, blasting away at enemies, dancing in the tower, and taking a breather while in the majestic aurora of orbit. Destiny is the rock and roll of games today. Even its stiff-necked detractors are quietly tapping their toe to its infectious beat. When I play Kentucky Route Zero, I'm transported to my childhood. I can smell the coffee-stained computer in my father's home office. Conway's surrealistic point-and-click adventure is something best experienced on a quiet Sunday morning. As the sunlight pours into the room, I wonder when the developers at Cardboard Computer will release the next episode. I don't mind waiting though. Every new episode is a gift. Don't let creator Benjamin Rivers serenade you with lies about how this game is just a sci-fi romantic adventure. I know what Alone with You is really about. It's about a time video games were going through an existential crisis, driving around in a Trans Am, feathered mullet blowing in the wind, rocking that new CD player and not truly knowing who they are, or why they're here, or what that disembodied voice is telling them. And that's a beautiful thing. Half turn-based RPG, half Viking soap opera, the Banner Saga really has no business existing, which is why it warms my cold gamer heart that my fellow gamers kickstarted this game into existence. The team at Stoic delivered on their ambitious promises, and helped prove that us gamers can spot a hot new IP even when big publishers cannot.